Welcome to Timelines, episode 147. Today on timelinesofsuccess.com from Stow, Ohio, we have Mike Sheehan. Mike is leading the way in developing the process of selling, servicing, and prospecting for life insurance online. Hey, Mike, welcome to Timelines.
Thanks for having me, Bill. How you doing today?
Pretty good. How you like these live shows?
Hey, they're great. I mean, there's nothing more better more than having a nice live show.
You know what? It's fun to do it live.
And showing who we really are.
Hey, folks, every day at 9 o'clock, we are live on Blab. And what we do is I think I might be the first. I'm not sure. We're taking this Blab at least 6 days a week, and we're turning it into a podcast right after the Blab. So we talk a little bit afterward, turn it into a podcast. I'm trying to see if it could be done. Probably tough to do it every day, but we'll always have something up and hopefully have folks stand in. So Mike, we're going to get into his background, what he's doing. But Mike and I are very similar, but he's in insurance, and I've been 25 years in real estate development, construction, owning offices. So I come from that perspective. I think what we're doing, there's room on both sides to apply some new technologies. What I hope to do is we're trying to set up a follow-up to this show tomorrow for Mike to go into more detail in what he is doing online. He's been very successful, been online for a long time. So Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, and tomorrow we'll go in more detail.
Well, to just stay on the topic of marketing online, that goes back to about 2008 when I was looking to start to develop a process because I frankly just got tired of running around town and going on to appointments and people not showing up or people not being home. And then starting to use the internet more and more, I thought, hey, there's going to be a way that I could expand my services to a much broader audience, do it over the computer, and be much more time effective and efficient. And then at the same time, the insurance companies were thinking along the same lines because they were making available to us the applications that we could complete and fill online. So we didn't have to be sitting in front of the prospect. We could be conversing to the prospect over the phone, getting the information that we needed, and then in turn, they're going to receive an email, which is the way that they would then confirm their signature and start the underwriting process. So I started with LinkedIn and have just by reaching out and engaging with different people that I met over these years, have expanded into other social media sites. And, slowly but surely developing a process to where I'm going to be where I receive leads, where people that are looking for life insurance reach back out to me. And then we're able to start that conversation.
You're doing it like a one-man business right now, right?
Right. Because it's just, it's just a process. It certainly is satisfying for me, but the bigger picture is to, have such a exposure. And I think that's what's exciting to me about these social media sites like Blab and Periscope, and that you can have such an immediate effect and be able to interact with people in some respects faster than using a LinkedIn or a Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or something like that, where you're just having to build an audience. I'm finding that just on things like Blab, I'm able to build an audience much, much quicker, and where people, because it's live, are be able to see, and get a feel for who I really am and whether they feel comfortable with dealing with me or not.
Know, like, and trust.
Exactly.
Well, you've got the years. How long? Now, tell us a little bit about your background. We know you like to play sports and football. You coached for a long time. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I came out of college and coached, was a teacher and coached football and wrestling and had a lot of fun with it, but my father was in the insurance business. And so that was kind of a natural progression to go into that business. I enjoyed the classroom, but I felt limited, but I wanted to continue to coach. So when I went into the insurance business, because of the nature of the business, it allowed me the flexibility to continue to coach. And I did that for many years. And then as my family grew, I ended up with a lot of girls. And so I've kind of transitioned away from the football field onto the soccer fields and the basketball courts and the volleyball courts, and was teaching and coaching at the younger level, and really enjoyed that. And it offered me the opportunity to expand my business because it was a platform to meet more people And in turn, I was kind of prospecting, kind of a very passive prospecting when I was out there, meeting other coaches and other, certainly other parents and stuff as I did that. So it was always a good interaction.
Yeah, understand. So now you're working on the insurance, you're making a living, and you still have a quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you're digging more and more. It's changed so much this last year. You're digging more and more into this new media.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I said I see it because I think any business, I'm sure that you could have this exact same conversation in the real estate business. It's always about finding leads, finding prospects, finding people to talk to, and there could be a lot of chatter, on the internet. So it is a challenge to be able to separate yourselves from the masses. And again, I think with these live streaming, the ability to do that is greatly increased.
Now you can go across state lines and sell insurance, correct?
Yeah, the insurance business makes it pretty easy. You have what's called your resident license that I have here in the state of Ohio, but I can get what's called a non-resident license, and it's really just a matter of paying a fee. You can go online. There's a generic site that I can go on. So if I were to have a lead that came in from Montana, and there was value in the lead, it was something that I think was going to be worth it for me and for the prospect, I could easily go on this generic insurance site, get the non-resident license, and be licensed to sell life insurance in the state of Montana in that example. And it's very easy. I mean, it's less than a 24 hours. So there's no additional testing. There's nothing else I have to do. It's really, again, just paying a fee.
Very good. So we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back and talk about your life and success and leadership principles.
All right.
Hey, just want to thank our sponsors, Share the Oils of Northern Nevada. And let's get back to the show. Hey, Mike, we're back. It's time for your life, success, and leadership principles.
All righty.
I'm going to just read them off, and let's talk about them. Your first one is, don't do it for the money.
Mm-hmm. That was I guess I can transition back to when I made the switch from teaching into the insurance business. I said I love the classroom, love the engagement with the kids. There was just, I just felt limited. I felt there was more. When I went into the insurance business, I chose to go in the life insurance arena because I saw of all the different insurances, I felt that was the one where the person, where I could have the most effect on the person in an unfortunate situation. A person gets in a car accident, person, has a fire in their home or maybe water damage. Maybe person has, some health insurance issues. Those all can be, significant as far as what can happen to a person and what, and how they feel. But in the case of death, that's pretty final. There's no coming back from that. And when somebody's lost the person that's providing income for the family or, helping to provide income for the family, that's pretty substantial. So, that's where there was that kind of love for the industry that I can, provide for people in their worst possible time. In many situations, I'm giving them the largest cash tax-free check that they've ever seen in their life. So that's what kind of motivated me to do it more for just the money. Can it provide a very worthwhile livelihood? Certainly it can. But even if it didn't, I still see tremendous value in providing that service for people.
Okay, and you've also been a volunteer. I mean, you've coached. You got paid a little bit for coaching while you're a teacher, but you volunteered a lot too. I know you've put a lot of hours into coaching kids. I think that's got to be a wonderful thing to do.
Well, you said up to this year, yeah, and once I got out of high school coaching, yeah, it was all volunteer because you're at the grade school level. You're at the club level in the summertime. There's no paycheck. So yeah, you're definitely doing it for the love. And you see I've been fortunate that I've had the opportunity to have a lot of success with the teams that I coached, and there's nothing more rewarding than putting the time in and then seeing the results. And then having just the transition of helping out kids that maybe weren't that athletic, and then by working with them, seeing them evolve and seeing the the growth that they had in their, personal self-esteem.
Okay. So now next, as I move the screen around here, exercise daily, number 2.
Yeah, you know what? It's not about the quantity of life. I think it's the quality of life. Would I like to live to 120? Sure. I mean, I'd like to be around as long as I can. But if I was, stuck in a wheelchair or, stuck in a nursing home, what's that quality of life? So my way of dealing with that is, through exercise, through having an appropriate diet. And am I religious to that? No. Do I enjoy the kind of bad foods? Absolutely. But I balance that out with the exercise, and then with the majority of time making those right food choices. So so I follow some regimens that I found that worked for me. I like to work out at home. It works for me because it's very simple and easy to do. And, there's nothing for me, because I do have the advantage of working there in a home, that certainly, right after this interview here, I could, just jump down on the floor here and, do a bunch of push-ups if I wanted to, and jump back in my chair and do work. So I strongly believe in it. I didn't exercise for a long time, and I saw that this was not a good path to go down. And I just started by just getting out there and walking. It didn't involve purchase of special shoes. It didn't involve any equipment. Didn't involve, a membership. Just putting on the shoes that I had, just getting out there walking, and then it just evolved from there.
Very good. I'm a big proponent of exercise. One thing that I've noticed, though, most of my life I was a design build engineer, and I was fortunate enough in the military too, as a reservist, as an officer, spend half my time behind a desk, but a lot of time out in the field. In the field. So it's a really good combination, because being out in the field is exercise in itself, and having to make the requirements as a flight physical or your PT test. So I've had the best of both worlds. But this last 2 years, and specifically the last 6 months, running this online business or developing the school and online business, I've realized that my job is to stay behind this computer, because there's so much to do, and I can't get out as much because it's more of a online relationship development system. So it's definitely changed my lifestyle. So it's even more important to put exercise into my plan.
Well, they say, you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan, I guess. Yeah. So you do have to, you got to incorporate it. But that's why I said, when people ask me, I go, well, I just opened the door and I started walking, So, I mean, anybody aside from somebody who maybe has a knee or hip situation, for 99% of us, you could do that today.
And don't forget diet. Diet's so important.
Yeah. I mean, that was the other part of it. I just decreased the portions. I didn't really change what I was eating. I just ate less of it. And so, wasn't real scientific, but when I peel it back, the results speak for themselves. So,
yeah, we could talk about that in another story about diet.
Yeah.
That's always a challenge for everybody, I think.
Well, that's what I said. For me, I just, instead of having 2 helpings, I had 1.
Right.
So I still ate what I wanted. I just had less of it.
Hey, my trick is I cut a peanut butter sandwich in 2 and eat one at 11 and one at 2.
Yeah.
Keep my blood sugars going. And
whereas
work through
where
lunch.
I would make 2, where I would make 2, I would just make 1, so.
Right. So number 3, read books.
Go ahead.
Read books.
Yeah. And that was a toughie for me. I mean, even to this day, but it's had such a positive effect. I mean, the one that I keep close by is just, the Think and Grow Rich. I mean, that's kind of like the Bible for me. And I'm always listening. I've gained a pretty broad library just by listening to different blabs and different people online, because it's not so much something that may be life-changing, but just that little tip, that little nugget that helps to maybe just make things a little easier, or to help you through maybe a difficult time that you might be going through.
And you mentioned learning from blab or online too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, like yesterday, I was listening in on a blab, and there was a point that was made there, and I go, that was interesting. So I think the bigger point is, for me, looking to learn something every day, and so that might be by listening to something or by reading something. So.
Right. That's a good attitude. Hey, I'm going to talk a little bit. First of all, I put the link, Think and Grow Rich. So you can go to the website, Timelines of Success, and under your principles, I put that book, and you can buy that link there. And it goes to Amazon. I get my 4%. That's, you know what? If you're starting an online business, sidetracking here, it's really hard to do. There's two things you have to learn to do. One is you have to learn to set up affiliate accounts and make yourself do it. You think it's no money, but those little pennies add up, and you just have to do it. And it's just like detailed, just do it. Set up an affiliate link site. The second thing is, and I think I've been guilty of both of these starting, is you have to learn how to collect email addresses. Not spam people, but actually collect their addresses so you can build relationships with them when it really is something important to send out. It's a thought. So number 4, use new media. Oh, I like that. We just talked about it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I said. I was introduced to the Periscope, now the Blab. I mean, it's for me, the jury's still out on the best way to use it, but I've understand it. I've used it enough to have a understanding of it, and I've found that in some of the other platforms where I would look to learn about that to see, is there some value here that would help me, and not just kind of put my heels in the sand and just shy away from everything. And I think that kind of goes back to, I'll use my dad as an example. We're going back, say 30 years. He refused to use a fax machine, and just because he'd been doing
I do too. I refuse to use them too.
Well, when they were introduced, I mean, now we're at the other
joking.
side of that. Yeah, now we're at the other side of that. We're not using it, but his method was to take that carbon paper, put the white piece of paper in there, put it in the in the typewriter, and type, stick it in an envelope. And that's the way he made his copies, because he didn't want to use a copy machine, and then mailed them off. But slowly but surely, he got a fax machine.
Yeah.
Now, could he have saved some time through that? Probably. But I said, I was more of the opposite. Something new comes out, I want to learn about it because it might help me. It might help me. I mean, just from that standpoint, it might help me.
Why I said that about the fax, I don't like to use one, is because we deal with banks a lot. And we actually had an exchange server which had fax internal, which is really nice. Our fax come in, they're kept on a computer hard drive on our server. And then we can print them out, or they're printed out and they're sorted. It's a pretty high speed fax system. But every time I talk to the bank, I can't resist. I said, haven't you guys figured out how to use email yet? And I'll tell you what, I can't tell you, most clients do not have a fax machine anymore. They have email, they don't have fax. So what they'll do is they'll email it to us. We'll put it in our fax system and send it up to the bank.
Well, or, you're scanning it and emailing it over. So
no, that's what we do too. We've got really nice scanners, but it's that hassle of, it's not the document, because most of our documents are online now. Mm-hmm. It's hard to explain. And we have them all stacked already in PDF if we do. And now somebody might have to print it out, put it in a fax machine if they're home, as opposed to, we have a server that does it and we just shoot it up. But most people don't have that. It's really archaic to use faxes anymore. And banks are the only ones that use faxes. I don't know why, but they still do.
Well, and I mean, I'll give you an example here. When I get a lead, I may want to reach out to one or two of the companies with this particular lead, because there might be a health issue or something, and I want to kind of get a feel for where's the best person. And this would be in a case where a person has some health issues. What's the best company for me to quote this person with? Where we have the opportunity to get this thing issued. And what's been working for me, I'll pick up my phone, I take a picture of the lead sheet, and I email it. I'm emailing it to the underwriter.
We do,
and he's looking at it on his phone. And it's nothing. There's no violation there. It's nothing. I mean, it's just notes that I'm putting on there, about this particular person. And then he emails me or texts me back with the fact that, hey, use this product or use this product, and it's bing, bang, boom. So, I don't even have to get out of my chair.
We do the same thing. We say, just take a picture now. And I am a commercial broker in California, and I have some clients. Almost everything I do now, I tell them, don't worry about fax. Just send me a picture. Mm-hmm. And it works. So number 5, don't try to please everyone.
You know what? I'm the oldest, so I'm guilty of that. in that lineage, the oldest always wants to be the one that is trying to please everybody. And what I found in that is you have to be a better listener, because sometimes you are trying to please somebody for something that you're never going to please them for, because that's not the real issue behind what their frustration is. So I said, in trying to please somebody, hey, be a better listener. And and then too, sometimes a person might be frustrated and they're not necessarily looking for a solution, but somebody just to listen to them, where my reaction is to right away try to find an answer. And then they may have gotten more frustrated because that's not really what they were looking for. It was really just somebody to listen. So
that's a great skill for a real estate agent or broker. My wife is really good at listening to her clients. Mm-hmm. And everyone has strengths and weaknesses. That's her strength. And I can see that by the reviews she gets. She can listen. But that said, when I'm doing this show, it is really hard to listen sometimes. I have to force myself to listen because I'm thinking about other things within the show.
Well, yeah, like which the next button I have to push here. So
I listen to every show and I love it. And I learned from listening to my shows. I said, wow, I missed that. He said some amazing things and I missed that thought pattern. It's really important if you're a podcaster, netcaster, or even blab, is go back and listen to your shows. Good job. You must have a button.
Yes.
You have a
no. You right on blab in the lower left. All you got to do is scroll over the little micro, the little.
Yeah.
Looks like a speaker.
You can cut yourself off. I never thought about using that. I use that to check other people, so you can do that to yourself.
Yep.
So it worked, right? That's
yes.
Good. Hey, we've got something new. I learned something today. I've always used those buttons. I didn't think about using it like that. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, I had somebody who was sniffling and sneezing, and they were a guest. And I said, and I'm sending a message over on the side here. I says, click the little mic, click the little speaker, because I didn't want to say that, on the call.
When I was I'm building a course on new media, and when I believe it or not, I discovered Blab. I said, boy, this is a game changer. I designed something where you do your podcast and you put it up on YouTube first and you test it. Really important to do that. It's really tough to get from that initial recording into iTunes. There's so many pieces they have to do. And now Blab has come along and there's so much to learn in Blab, but this is a great platform. That's something new. That's excellent. So,
well, that's the neat thing here. Like you as the host, as soon as you end this, you're going to get an email and says, here's your link.
Right. Unless I stay on for a while and we open it up and talk for a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Number 6, be a team player.
That goes back to my coaching. I have that conversation quite often, and I think that's certainly applicable. I think in any business that you have is, be kind to the people around you. Be kind to certainly the people that, are working for you or helping you. The old saying, you can get more bees with honey than with vinegar. It certainly applies. I don't think that's changed. The old golden rule, that hasn't changed. And I think you're going to get a lot farther than the alternative, which is being, looking down on people, not being appreciative of what they do. And it's not saying take somebody off, take someone off the hook or get someone off the hook or accept something that's secondary, but there's a right way of doing it. And I think at the end of the day, if you do present things in a positive nature, everyone's going to gain and then you're going to make more money. I just think with doing that, you end up making more.
Now, Mike, I know from the piece of paper behind you on the wall, that newspaper, whatever it is, it's Vince Lombardi. I know you're a Vince Lombardi guy and you've been trained with Vince Lombardi. Side note, for you listening, you can go up to Timelines of Success, episode 147, and you can see, if you open up, read more, you can see this and watch it, see the background. But it's basically Vince Lombardi. I know you came up through that ranks of the Vince Lombardi mentality in football, and I did too. I was fortunate to have 2 coaches, when I was a freshman, and they came up with me all the way to varsity, who are true Vince Lombardi, diehards. It's a tough leadership style, but man, it's a great teamwork system.
Well, yeah, that and John Wooden.
And John Wooden, we love Wooden.
Yeah, success. I share that, and I mentioned before where up until this year when I coached, it was doing it for free. Well, I'm involved in now at the high school level coaching girls lacrosse, so it is a paid position.
Nice.
But the reason I had gotten involved in that because I really enjoyed the sport, and we can talk more about another time. But I will speak of Vince Lombardi and John Wooden, and it's tough because you're dealing with 16, 17, 18-year-old girls who do not know who those people are, but I will take their concepts and share that with them because they still apply. If you look at anything that Vince Lombardi had shared, and certainly the triangle of success that John Wooden, again, it still applies today.
I think young folks still around UCLA still get it. He's all over the place there. If you go to UCLA.
Oh,
yeah.
Sure. No, I bet.
We've got, it's funny. I think we've got a lot of similarities, and because those are my two favorite leaders in the sports world.
And it's interesting. Well, it's interesting too because of teaching girls. I've tried to reach out. I do a lot again with my phone. I can easily put a quote on. I send it, through Instagram, and the girls see it. I put it on. We have a Facebook page. I put it on there, and I try to find females. Just so they can relate. And there just aren't a lot, either just because they weren't as, and were there a lot of female leaders? Absolutely. But, it's very easy to go into Google and look for quotes, and you're going to find a lot more men. So I've had to really work at looking for females that I can put quotes up so that they can, someone that they can relate and emulate to. None of the girls are going to relate to Vince Lombardi or John Wooden as a person, but they can certainly gain from the words that they were sharing and the reasons behind it.
Do you know of any women who you use for quotes that you admire who are sports?
Well, I use Pat Summitt, who was the head coach for many, many years. I think she is the winningest Division I coach in history, period, above men. I use her a lot, and I've used Mia Hamm, who was a very, very successful soccer player. Those are probably the two I've used the most. When I'll reach out to them.
Well, with that, let's go to a break, and then when we come back, we're going to discuss your final success, life, and leadership principle. We're going to find out how to get in contact with you, and we'll have one more question.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that means it's time for that commercial. And the first commercial is going to be from my organization, what I'm doing. One thing I'm doing right now, it's netcasting101.com. And I'm rebuilding another course to put up online. And right now we're about under $40 for the pre-sale. And I hope to shoot that up around $100. And that's going to be all about taking this medium and building a website, and putting it up online, and starting your online business. netcasting101.com. Mike, you get the next commercial.
All right. Thanks, Bill. If any of you out there that are listening today have found yourself in a situation where you just bought that new house, so you got that new mortgage. Maybe your family is growing. You had that new baby. Maybe you're in a situation where because of changes in healthcare, you lost your life insurance that you've kind of been dependent on over these years from your employer. Or maybe you've had a situation where that 20-year term policy that you purchased has now expired. Or lastly, you had somebody close to you pass away. All these are situations that cause a person to sit back and say, you know what, I need to make sure I have the right life insurance to protect my family. If you're in any of those situations, you can go online to yourlifeinsurance411.com. Very simple, just to put your name, your email, your phone number in there. We'll reach back out to you, have that conversation, and make sure that you have the best plan. Because again, none of us are getting out of here alive. And all of my clients have purchased life insurance because they care about their family. So again, yourlifeinsurance411.com.
I know I'm going to be going to Mike to have my life insurance reviewed. It's time. Okay, we're back with the show. And finally, fail your way to success. Number 7, fail your way to success.
Man, I think that goes back to some of the things I mentioned earlier as being open to change. Did everything that I've done through this process, was it an immediate return on my investment? No. I made a lot of mistakes, and I have certainly spent some money, which is kind of a sidebar. If you want to grow your business, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. I firmly believe that you are not going to gain the knowledge that you need by hoping you get it all for free. And a very simplistic example of this is a college education. Nobody came out of college with a degree for free. They had to invest in it. Unfortunately, we're finding out that a lot of that money you invested in a college degree didn't really translate into what you do. But the beauty of, again, the internet and the materials that we have out there, you can very easily target your investment to help you learn what you need to. So whether it's marketing online or whether it's, you have a brick and mortar and you're looking to look at different avenues to market your business on a local basis, being ready to jump in, invest in yourself, and not always be tied to the end result, I think will help you along the way to finding that success that you're looking for to build your business. Very good.
Okay, now we need to find out, how does the listener get a hold of you? Easiest way.
The easiest way is, again, and I put it in the side here. If you're seeing this on Blab, it's yourlifeinsurance411.com. So just type that in. Yourlifeinsurance411.com is the easiest way. Or you can feel free to pick up the phone at 330-592-5740. That's 330-592-5740. I'm in Ohio, so I'm on Eastern Standard Time.
And Mike, we're going to have that information up on Timelines at the bottom on contact information. So you can find it at timelinesofsuccess.com. You can also Google Mike Sheehan and say Timelines, and it'll come up in a few days.
Neat. Cool.
Kind of neat, isn't it? Quick and dirty.
Yep.
Dirty? I don't know about dirty.
Yeah. Quick.
Now, for one last question, Mike, here it is. What is a recent marketing tool you are using to set yourself apart online?
That has to do with Twitter, and it really, with the onset of Blab and Periscope, I'm using my Twitter more and more because if any of you, obviously, if you're listening on Blab, you understand it has to be tied to your Twitter as Periscope does. And I don't know how new it is, but it's new to me, and I'm using it basically every day. After I engage with somebody on Twitter, I can go into my Twitter account, and you have to do this on the phone. You can't do this on your computer. And I can send a quick video. I think it's up to 15 seconds. I usually keep it to 5 or 6. And I'm simply just going to say, hey, it was nice connecting with you. Let's talk again real soon. And almost 100% of the time, I will get another response back to that. So I see this as a way to engage, set myself apart from just a normal, clicking a heart on the Twitter or a little response. And it works really neat. And again, if you have the iPhone, that's what I use. It's very simple to do. If you want to learn how, I think once I heard about it, I wasn't exactly sure. I just went on YouTube and checked how to, send a video through Twitter. And I found a couple of very simple tutorials to do it. And I've been doing it. And I said it works, and it's a lot of fun.
A group of clients we have are politicians. Actually, with my background, it's natural that a lot of politicians come to me. Number one thing we're using now for communications, not press releases, but Twitter. So they put a little quote in quotes online or a little video, like you said, and they can be quoted verbatim by the newspapers. Newspapers love it. Newspapers have really adopted Twitter and politicians. So just you're doing the same thing.
Well, and just as a sidebar with that, I agree, because whenever I'm looking to get something in the newspaper for my lacrosse team, if I send them the picture, if I identify it, and if I do the article, 100% of the time it's going to get in there. Yeah. But if I just tell the newspaper guy, hey, I need you to come out and take a picture and write an article, nothing. So yeah, anything you can do to make it easier for people to connect with you and to see who you are, is going to pay off. Is going to be a huge payoff for you.
So say that again. Are you putting it up on Twitter and attached with a little URL, or how are you getting the pictures, the information?
How am I getting the what?
How are you getting the information to the reporter?
Oh, that would just, I'm not using Twitter for that. That's why I'm just using email. I mean, just a point like what you were saying was providing content and making it easy for the person to find it. If you want people to share it is going to go a lot more. It's going to get you a lot farther than you saying, hey, I hope you will do this for me. Copy and paste this link, pull up this picture, upload it. They're not going to do that. But if
sometimes you can put a link in. So this is my blog page, and you're welcome to take this information.
Right.
So, but sometimes emails get lost, believe it or not, with reporters.
True. But I would say, in fairness, here we're talking a small community, so I don't think this particular reporter gets a whole lot of emails, and I've not had that problem. But I will say that again, in this situation, if I didn't see a response, or in the case with that, I will put in there, please respond when you've seen this. So if a couple of days goes by and I've not gotten the response, I may shoot that email again.
Well, guess what? The good old time or sound machine is not working for finishing sound. So I'll have to just not do anything. And by the way, I got to do Christmas cards next, so I'll be busy this afternoon. We'll come up a little bit after the show here and answer your questions for those listening. Really appreciate it. Mike, thanks for coming on. See you tomorrow. And we also have another show. Give a quick shout out for your show.
Yeah, I'm hosting a show on Wednesday. It is 3:30 Eastern time, called Keeping Up with the Blabdashians. Since this is such a new platform, I wanted to give back. And I keep it to 25 minutes. We talk about just some of the simple things about how to use Blab and anything that's new that's happened over the last week. And I do that on Wednesday. So again, Keeping Up with the Blabdashians, or look for it under my name, Mike _ Sheehan is my Twitter handle or Twitter username. And we'll look forward to seeing you on Wednesday. Again, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Sounds good, Mike.
All right.